So you're the window on top here. This floating window is the Grasshopper interface. Okay. So that appears, that can only emerge from, so right now I have my little Rhino with a little box here.
That's a big Rhino.
Okay.
Don.
Yeah, big Rhino. Yeah. Okay, so this is what I want everybody to do. Okay, right now is, if you understand what's going on, don't worry, and you know, you don't have to worry about it. If you've already been able to adjust the louvers and like, you know, the depth and the frequency of them, then you're fine. This is just for everybody else. Okay, so let's open a file out of Rhino 6, and make a box. Okay, so just make a box. Okay, that's the first step. Okay, and then in the meantime, make sure that you have downloaded the script, the Grasshopper script that Eric created for us last class. Okay, and what you're going to do is once you've made the box, okay, just I'm gonna if you haven't made the, you know, let me know if you have any questions. I'm gonna type Grasshopper in the command line. Okay. And I'll close this so that it's as if we started from scratch. Okay, so what you're going to see is, you know, is like this interface like this. Okay, and what it's trying to do is it has this little shortcuts to certain kind of examples that they're making available to people on things that Grasshopper can do. So don't worry about that. Okay, don't worry about that. This is our interface. I'd like to have it situated so that I can see both. You know, I can see a little bit of Rhino, and I can see a little bit of Grasshopper over here. If that means, you know, like kind of collapsing for you guys on a laptop, maybe you want to, you know, split it in half to where you have, right, the Grasshopper on one side and Rhino on the other, just so that you can see the kind of what you're doing. Okay, so then the next step is we're going to open the file. Okay, so go and open up the go and find your you know, the Grasshopper script, AR303 facade 527.20 okay, and just double click on that and that will open up. Okay, now I already assigned the surface, so let me clear that. Okay, delete this. We have our box, and this is what you're looking at. Now the first thing that's going to happen, guys, is I can't recreate the issue. I think you're going to notice that there's a disclaimer that popped up, right, saying something about pufferfish. There's a particular one of these in here required is a pufferfish. It's the contour, I think, or I don't think it's in here. It's, oh, I see. Yeah,
it's the double-sided offset, and you can just replace it with the one-sided regular offset, and it'll still.
Thank you, JJ. So we'll get there. But for now, just I think I said that the option that is there, it says like download and install, something like that. I hit it and it didn't work. But it did open up the script. So don't worry about the pufferfish part, because there's a workaround. Okay, so this is what you're looking at. You should. I want everybody to be at this point. You know, you could zoom in and out just like you zoom in and out in Rhino with the middle mouse button. Okay, and I just want you to zoom out and look at the entire script for a second. And that's the extent of this whole idea right here. And we're going to build. The reason why we want you to understand this is we want to practice this weekend, so that we can come back next week and be ready for the next step of Eric's presentation. Okay, and again, none of this is meant for you to even really know how Grasshopper works. Yeah, hopefully, and I think this is an introduction into algorithmic thinking, and really the field could be regarded, if you wanted to, as a kind of like a primitive form of algorithmic thinking, or pre-digital, you know, or post-digital form of algorithmic thinking. So then we have this, right? So let's make sure we're here, okay? And then the first thing that I want to do is there's only one input I have to really worry about, okay? In this process, it's one step, okay? And it's the surface one over here. So zoom in and notice how he's got it labeled facade surfaces. This is the surface of your building that will be assigned as where the louvers will be attached. Okay, so now this is the thing. Okay, so this is what I want you to do this weekend is actually open up your building. This is just a dummy, like an object, right? It is right now a solid object. Okay, and I'm going to say that this is, like, say, the side, okay, that I want to work with. This one right here, okay? Say this is the side of the facade that you're going to want to, like, you're going to pull off of your building. Well, what are you going to do, right? You're going to have a massing, okay? So this is the first step, I think, and this, I just want to prepare you guys. Is you're going to build, create out of your geometry, and it could be the kind of, I don't know, I think it wants to be at the latest stage of your kind of thinking about, after last quarter we did the plans, right? And in the planning of these, of our buildings, some of the geometry that's the geometry we want to be working from, okay? So for some of you, it might be, spend this weekend actually starting to look back into your building a little bit. I think this is a good time to do that. Where we kind of like, let's introduce ourselves with our project again. And I think you want to do that for two reasons. One, for this, but the second, it should really inform you of, like, the footprint, and maybe give you some geometries that you need, like Philip, this, we talked about on Wednesday, and Philip introduced, is your building has a specific kind of footprint based on the geometries of it, that it should be inscribed in the field. It should be inscribed in some manner in the field, and in a very hyper repetitive way, similar to, as we suggested earlier, the way we began the last quarter with those, like, kind of speculative aggregates of your first geometries. Okay, so nonetheless, I want you to get to a point where you can solidify that object again as, so, like, I would make a copy of whatever you have, the latest geometry that you have. Find that, really identify what that is. For some of you, that's going to be really tricky, right? Digital hygiene, retracing your moves, becoming familiar with that, and then get to a point where you have a dummy object that is a pretty good, representation of the most recent geometry that you have. Okay, so we'll say that, and it really, you just, because you want to get the surfaces off of that. Okay, we have a facade, we have these faces. Well, we want to pull the surface off that. So say you have done that. First thing we're going to do is, I'm just going to make a copy of that. I'm going to be working in a completely new file with just that geometry, no other crap in there, no junk, no other random model shrapnel from your building projects of the past. Just a clean Boolean, ideally unioned object, but it doesn't really matter here. So what we're going to do is I'm going to explode it. And that's why I say be working off of a copy, because we're going to be kind of decomposing. We need kind of a decomposite like model, so that we can, like, pull surfaces off of it. So I explode it, I can pull that surface off of that, right? And that's my facade. Okay, this is the building. Okay, so now the key here, and this is just like, you wanna rotate this down so that he built this, so that it's not, the louvers are not going to be running perpendicular to the building orientation, which is going on the z-axis. In this sense, we want to rotate these down. So the next move you're going to want to do is just rotate this guy down flat. Maybe. I want to rotate it. And believe it or not, I'm going to be teaching Rhino this summer, and I can't even rotate it. I'm just kidding. Okay, so right, we have this guy. This is our flattened surface that we're dealing with. That's what I want you guys to do. Okay, this weekend is identify some surfaces. I can't wait to see them. I can't wait to see the geometries and the shapes of these surfaces. And then once you have it, and you may have a whole strip of these that you pulled off of different sides, and you begin to kind of even create a logic on what I don't think we need to, because we're going to introduce other surface, other kind of strategies for skins. But so don't get too in depth about it. You don't have to get too specific about it. But the goal is to identify surface, and then we're just going to assign it. I'm going over to Grasshopper, and I'm going to right click. Okay, so this is my surface, right? He talked about this is the container. This is where we assign this surface to this container. So I'm just going to right click on this guy, this container. I'm going to set one surface. And that's all you have to do. So my tutorial is over. Now I bet this is what I want you to do this weekend. So once you have the louvers emerged, right? No problem. The script is already there. We're not asking you to build the script, and then you have some things to experiment with. I want you to do that. I want you to go through and experiment with what these things are doing. Okay, so notice how, right, these are changing the tilt of the louvers. This is changing the spacing. It's still rotating too, and spacing. Okay, so make sure you have a good view of this. I'm in perspective view right here while I'm making these adjustments. Okay, and then this is the extruder. This is the contour component. This is the nature. This is what this does is this is right more adjusting, kind of customizing the actual the direction of the and the depth. And it looks like the way it's set up now, maybe if I want you guys to look through this, if I return this back to, can I get it to lay all the way down? Maybe not. Yeah, I don't think it's designed to lay all the way down. That would be interesting. Oh yeah, there you go. Okay. Right, I can get them to lay all the way down, even past, right? So that's it. That's all I want you to do. So the only last step is, what does this guy do? Oh yeah, this is depth. Okay. Let me crank up the frequency a little bit. I mean, this is super, I don't know, this is already super fun. Super neat. I mean, you have all kinds of geometric possibilities here, angles. You're going to want to kind of, once we get to it, you're going to want to know what these angles, you're going to want to have a certain logic applied to your facade, but that's it. And then the only last thing, now what he's done, and I guess that's where this was supposed to go, was offset, surface. So I guess, I don't know. I'm not going to ask you guys. I'm not going to ask you to do this because I don't want to trip you up. I'm not even going to worry. I want to work through that before I spend too much time on that. I want to look at what that offset, because I don't trust it actually. I don't think the offset surface, is it a thickened? I don't know if it's a thickened surface.
It'll just offset that surface normal to the surface that already exists, but it won't necessarily loft them. So there's an extra step you would have to do in creating a solid surface.
Exactly.
And that's where Eric was kind of like, just Google solid surfaces.
Yeah, so we'll walk you through that, and right, Tony, we want to get to a thickened. I think it wants to be thickened.
Yeah.
So let's not worry about that right now. We'll get that. We can develop that, no problem. But right now, all I want you to do is to get to this point. Okay, you have your louvers, you have some surfaces that you played with. This should take about 10 to 15 minutes. And then just to get it up and running, and then I would play, and that should take as much time as you have. But then the only thing you guys do at the end of this is at the final shaders here is I just want you to practice just baking. Okay, so you're gonna right click on, any of this stuff you can right click on and bake it. Okay, so I'm gonna bake this, put it on a layer, And now you have actual, okay, let's see. Yeah, so I have, now what I probably don't want, okay, that's the original surface and I want that surface. Why? Because guess what? This is the cool thing. Maybe by Monday, this is what you do. You bake it and you put it back on the surface. So I'm gonna flip this back up, rotate 3D. I'm gonna move it back into position. So that's it. That's all I want you to do. Do we have any questions right now? Hopefully you've been following along, and if you ran into any snags, let me know now.
That's great. I see your new machine at work, Don.
Smooth, huh?
Your liquid cooler is just.
Oh yeah, it
Yeah.
rips. Oh, this thing rips. It's awesome. Yeah. So any questions, guys?
Raise
I
your
have one.
hand if you're still there.
You okay? Did I hear
I
a
have a
question?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I followed all your steps, but I don't see my louvers. I don't see the louvers popping up. Maybe I missed
Do you want to
one,
share?
but
Do you want to share your
switch
screen, Giovanni?
yeah. Give me 1 second.
Okay, let me turn mine off.
Okay.
Mhm.
So
Okay.
this is where I'm at. Let me know if you want me to zoom into anything. I also have poor connection, so I don't know if.
Yeah, start from the beginning and kind of scroll your way over so we can see
Okay.
how the cake is baked.
Yeah. All right. Keep. Okay, we have an orange. We
Yeah,
have
this
orange.
one's red.
It's not working yet.
So we've got a problem there. That's what when you see an orange line, that's what that means. Is it's not transferring. Actually, guess mine has an orange line though.
Click, Giovanni, can you double click your extrusion, the one that's orange? It should give you a little dialog box and it'll,
This one right here.
nope, go over into your definition and yep, and go to the right to the orange box. Well, your surface
one.
looks like it's actually, yeah, empty brep. Yeah, so your surface, go back to your surface, still in your definition all the way to the left. And then
Yeah.
there's something wrong with your, yeah, maybe it's reading two surfaces. Disconnect.
Just delete that orange one. It'll.
You
This
can
one?
try to delete it. Just yeah. Okay, and then
Make sure that surface is set as one surface. It
Okay.
looks like it appears that it is. Yeah, it should be working.
okay,
now
now
go back. Now what are
zo-
we getting?
Giovanni, zoom in too. Also, can you zoom in a little bit on your in Rhino onto your shape?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So okay, now okay. And none of the sliders work. Is that right? When you run the slider
No.
over any of this
nothing.
stuff, it's yeah, okay.
Nothing really happens.
Let's repeat the process. I think we need to repeat from ground zero. So let's
Yeah.
Giovanni, go back to surface. Let's right click on that and clear values. Okay. Okay, now let's right click on that and set one surface.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. And now go over the contours. Let me look at my settings. I don't know why I don't. When I look at mine, I also get orange, and I think that's because it's just wanting two surfaces. Is anybody else having this trouble right now? The same problem?
Disconnect your Z component on your vector.
This one? Okay. How do I
Yeah,
disconnect
I don't
it?
think you need it. Hold down Control and plug it back into the one. Yep, there you go.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Because you only need the X and Y direction at this point for your yeah, there you go.
Okay.
Oh,
And
I
then-
have a suspicion, Giovanni, you're working with a very, 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 very tiny piece object.
Yeah,
That's the
Oh,
issue.
yeah.
Okay.
Oh,
That's
And-
the issue is we were looking at a surface that could not register even the type the amount of spacing between the yeah, there you go. Exactly. Okay, we're
Okay, I
good.
see.
Yeah. So just
Alrighty.
It was a scale issue.
and the Z. Make sure everyone deletes that Z, that initial Z. You don't need that. That will
Yeah.
if you plug that back in and then see if anything.
I don't know. I guess it was just a scale.
Yeah, but so now like play around with the sliders and yeah, that just does a weird. I'm not sure what that's doing either, Tony, but yeah, you see how right. So now you're fully.
The second you turn this though, you're gonna want the Z.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so yeah, I would almost be I might modify this script a little bit so that you don't have to do this thing where you have to take the thing off and rotate it down.
Yeah.
I think I might modify that for you guys. So stay tuned for that. But let's make sure that we have the principle down, that you understand how it works. So I think you're off to the races now, Giovanni.
Okay, thank you guys.
Yep.
Yep.
Cool. That was good.
Any other questions about that? Luis, you say, is it baked? Yeah, in the end, you want to bake it. So the last component is the final, right? It's a linear process, completely linear. The last component is the finalized louver. You want to bake that. Right click and hit bake, and then assign that to a layer. Anyone else? Any other questions before we? No? Okay. Okay, good. Yeah, so let's no excuses, right? Let's see some progress on that on Monday. So we have like a little bit of parallel, parallel process going on right now. But let's see some progress on that. And then, right, I think we want to talk real quick with our groups.
Yeah. I
Okay.
think there's someone raised their hand too.
Do we have a hand raised?
All right.
Speak up if you've. Is it just raising your hand in approval, or?
I think it was when Philip asked, "Raise your hand if you're still here."
Oh, okay.
I think they're just still here.
They're still. Okay, cool. All right.
Okay.
So yeah,
Hey,
let's.
thanks, Don. That was great.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
You're welcome. Yeah, and if you guys want to take a Rhino class this summer, I'm teaching one, so I think it's on Fridays.
That's awesome.
Sweet.
Some people were having trouble.
From beginning to.
From beginning from start to pro. You're gonna be a pro by the end of end of this class for sure.
You'd be a white rhinoceros.
Yeah, yeah.
The rare.
The rare. That's right. That's a good. I'm gonna remember that.
Ty, do you have a question?
Some people were having trouble accessing that script. Was it uploaded just to Teams or was it on Blackboard as well?
I think it was just on Teams.
Okay.
It's on Teams, guys. It's in the chat. It's Philip put it in the AR303 chat, right, Philip? It's just up. Scroll up. AR303. It's right there. Wednesday, 5:53 p.m.
Yeah. So
right
not the files thing. It's just in the chat.
Just in the chat.
I think that's where it got confused.
I'm gonna work on it a little bit this weekend, and I will put it somewhere where put it somewhere. Also, I put Cedric Price. That website is awesome, Philip. That Infamous Lines website. I love
Yeah,
that.
it's cool, huh?
So Cedric Price, man, I don't want to get, we have to talk to our class,
Oh.
but
The
dude,
Tinkerbell project is unreal. Yeah, yeah.
these networks and nodes. I mean, if you're still looking for like ideas on fields, I mean, this whole idea of these like networks and circuits and the fun palace, right?
Yeah. Maybe one of the most underappreciated contributor to architecture.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, so let's, I guess, hang up and
Yeah.
hang up here and then join our individual groups.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Cool.
See you guys.
All right. See you.
See you on the other side.